This is a tour of the cargo van to camper van conversion we just did. This is a Ford E350 Super Duty gas engine, 5.4 liter, 8-cylinder. And it started off as a commercial cargo van when we got it about 2 months ago. And you can see there's a roof rack on there now. It sort of conflicts with the solar panels. I'll show you in a second. I'll give you a tour around the van. We've got reflectings in the windows right now because we haven't tinted them. We'll probably use reflectings in the future too, just to keep it cool in there. These are the 3 100-watt solar panels and a big Smitty built cargo rack, which is shading them partially, so kind of got to work that out. This is our fantastic vent, which is just an awesome vent there with a fan, electric fan. And let's go in the front door. We spent about 2 months working on this. I did it mostly myself. A little bit of help from Allie, a lot of support from Allie and my partner. And so the first thing is these door panels. I used a lot of this underlayment, which is just a really thin 5.5 millimeter plywood, and it's linseed oil. These are some rope door pulls that we had to invent. Had to solve a lot of problems here. You'll see our water tank, our refrigerator, and the bed / couch. Cab is all pretty much the same. We insulated the roof under the headliner. I'll take the coat down. That's where I keep the coat. And so the floor is insulated, and then it's got some 1/2-inch plywood on it. And then so the way the bed is made, I copied somebody else who had made sort of a pull-out bed with these slats. It also lifts up. It's not totally turned into a couch right now. And then these are just 2 mattresses I made by dividing a futon in half. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea of it anyway. And I made it so that you could get under here with these door pulls like that. And there's a lot of storage under there. And there's a lot of things like this that sort of divide the storage area so things don't slide forward and backwards all the time. And that's again the underlayment, just oiled with linseed oil. The floor is polyurethane. Everything else is treated with just raw linseed oil and turpentine. So we keep the food under here, and also under here we've got dishes in a sort of a, hang on, I'm working the camera, sort of in a trough here that slides out. You can sort of see that, and that can become a sort of a sink, and then goes under the water tank here. This is a 13-gallon stainless steel water tank. Let's see. This is a 45-quart electric fridge. It runs on both AC and DC. So it runs on DC right now. It's running off the solar panels and the battery. And then when we're somewhere with AC, we can just plug it in through an extension cord and save our battery. So moving back, we've got 2 cubbies. This is his and hers. We fit all our clothes in there, and then maybe a book, sharpening stones, a few little things like that. We are used to living pretty light, so this has not been a very difficult transition. We have a curtain here that's not quite finished. It's going to be a real curtain. This is just a stand-in, but what it does is it separates the back portion of the van so that this can be used as a little emergency bathroom. Here's a toilet roll, and we have sort of a container for urine, and we have back there a composting toilet with sort of a seat on top, and we've got what looks like yogurt is actually just the dirt that we put on top of the stools when you use the toilet. So it's all kind of hidden in here, and it holds held shut with magnets there. And then on the other side we have what I call the electrical cabinet. The bottom panel is designed to be removed very rarely. It's just to get the battery out if you need to replace the battery, but otherwise you just slide these. I didn't get to the door pulls yet on these. We've got a charge controller. I've got an inverter that comes out the top. I've got sort of USB charging stuff, and I'll sort of show you how that works. The charge controller charges the battery, tells us how much power we're getting from the solar panels, and does other smart, useful solar panel stuff. There's a surge protector for an extension cord, so when I want to run AC I can also plug into it right there. And then on the other side we have these bus bars that basically are leads that come off of the battery. This is a big 155 amp hour, I think that's big, battery. And then it's got fuses and all sorts of things. So that fridge comes off of there, the fan comes out of there. That's kind of it. It's pretty easy to do. It's working really well. And then here you'll see the fan, how the fan works. So the fan is right over the bathroom area, and it can be switched to either pull in or pull out, so you can basically mitigate any sort of smell that happens if you use this part like a bathroom. So let me just show you one other thing. Stuff lying out. Step out here. So this is what it looks like from the back. You can see we have a closet over here that I haven't finished. It's going to be for tools. Right now it's just stuffed with comforters and buckets and an extension cord. So that's sort of how the van works. And a little bit more on how it was built. Basically, I started by building the floor, roughly. And let's go inside so you can see. I started by building the floor, roughly, and then once the floor was in, I was working on the walls, basically studying the walls, creating something to attach things to, and I was insulating, putting rock wool in every spot that I could reach. Spots that I couldn't reach, I was using spray foam. And then I covered everything with Reflectix, and we have lots of pictures of these things. Maybe I'll make a slideshow at some point. And then once everything was covered in Reflectix, I used more rock wool to fill the gaps. So there's about 3 inches of insulation on a lot of the walls. I was willing to sacrifice that because it wasn't really going to become interior space very easily because of the way the sheet metal, it's 2 parts of sheet metal on the wall that with all these funny shapes for seat belts and stuff. And then so basically I did that, put the rock wool in, and then I covered it with it's a material like Luan. It's that underlayment I was showing you on the doors that then bent to this shape here by being attached down at the bottom and in the middle, and then it bent to this nice curve. And then I used contact adhesive to glue this 100% wool felt on here, and then I used these pieces to fix the corners, and I think that's most of it. There's a lot of head scratching, and then I roughed in, like the support for the fridge, and I roughed in the walls here, and then I built the cubbies, and then I built the electrical closet, and then I basically trimmed everything and oiled it and was done. And that's a summary with none of the hair pulling things that actually happened, but I solved all of those more or less. And this is our van, and we've been living in it for about 5 days now. So still working out the kinks, but one other thing, I made one Reflectix window protector here. We have a Reflectix thing that goes across the windshield, but I made one for one side, and it can be used on either side. And then I don't know if you can see it here, there's a screen basically, so this window can stay open so the fan can pull through. A nice breeze comes through here, and it doesn't let any bugs in. And that just has magnets, and then it sort of gets trapped in the door. So you use the magnets to put it on. I'll show you right now. It's just on here with magnets. And so it goes up, it's attached, and once it stays there, you just close it. And then it's all set, and it's held in there by the gasket of the door. So that's the tour of our van. Again, it's been about 2 months building it. The only power tool I used was a electric drill to drive the screws, and I cut all the plywood with a Japanese hand saw, modern saw for cutting plywood, and I used a coping saw, and I used a bunch of other hand tools. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you around.